I get a chance to talk to Carlos Mendoza, the manager of the Mets. His first year, beyond expectations. They went to Game 6 of the NLCS, 2 wins away from the World Series, and now they have Juan Soto added to that team, and Carlos Mendoza joins us now. Carlos, how you doing? Michael Kay here.
Hey, Michael, how you doing? Thanks for having me. How's everything going?
Thanks for coming on. Everything's going great. You having a nice Valentine's Day?
Yeah, well, I'm here at the ballpark. You know how that is. Spring training. It's long days. I don't even know. When was the last time I was with my wife this day?
How do you feel about this team, the addition of Soto? I mean, you guys did so much last year. You get to within 2 wins of going to the World Series. Now you add one of the best players in baseball. What's your take on this team at this point?
Yeah, I'm excited. Feeling good. Not gonna lie, the addition of Juan to a team that played deep into October, is exciting. But we also understand that we got work to do. The competition in the National League is real. There's a lot of good teams out there. We know we got a good team, but like I said, nobody's won anything on paper, and we got it. We acknowledge that, and we understand that there's a lot of good teams out there, and we got to go out there and take it one day at a time. We got to get better, but I'm not gonna lie, I'm excited.
Now, I know how you're wired after knowing you for all those years with the Yankees. You did not go into last season, hoping to make the playoffs. You had high expectations, but now that the year is over, and you guys did go as far as you did it even surprise you that you got that far?
That's a good question, Michael, because I knew we had a good team, and even at the beginning when it was so hard for us, the first couple of months that nothing seems to be was going our way. I was always positive. I always thought that we had really good players, we had really good people, and it finally clicked, and we were able to get to where we got, right? But honestly, we didn't accomplish the ultimate goal, which is to win a World Series. There's a lot of good teams out there. I wasn't surprised. I was just proud of the group, proud of the organization, proud of the guys, because they were able to overcome so much adversity.
All right, so Soto in the past, before last year, always wanted to bat third. They batted him second. He had Judge obviously behind him. I know you have a lot of runway of spring training to make this decision. Are you leaning one way or another where you will bat Soto?
Well, I mean, it's 2 or 3, not a secret. I have to talk to Juan. I haven't had that conversation with him. I'm waiting for him to get here. We didn't sign Pete Alonso until a few days ago, so I didn't know what was going to look like, our lineup was going to look like. And I was just waiting before I started talking to him because, like I say, I was waiting to report what the roster looks like before we were starting to have those conversations. So the year that he had last year, out of the 2 holes, yeah, he had Judgy behind him. But we'll see. We got the good thing, Michael, is that we got some really good options. I could go a lot of different ways, 1 through 5, 1 through 6, with Juan being, at the top, 2 or 3. I think that's a good problem to have.
How important was it for you to sign Alonso? Obviously, the fans wanted it. He's popular in that clubhouse. I assume that you liked him around as well. How big was that for the Mets and their mindset to get him back and also to have that natural protection behind Soto?
Yeah, it was big. The whole offseason, and even after we got Juan, it took a lot longer than what we anticipated. But from the very beginning, we wanted him. We were very vocal about it, how much we wanted him back, whether it was myself, whether it was David, Steve. It took a lot longer. But now that he's back, and with the addition of Juan, the protection there, like you said, and he's just the person, the quality of the human that he is. And he understands what it takes to play in New York. Whether it's the expectations, whether it's going through the ups and downs and handling adversity. Like, we know what he brings to the table. The power is real. And as a manager, you appreciate the fact that these guys post. Knock on wood, He wants to be in the lineup every day. It doesn't matter how he's feeling, what he's going through. I want to be in there, Skip, and that's a good feeling as a manager. Like I said, when you don't have to worry about certain position, and with Pete, that's the case here. Where when he's healthy, which he's got a pretty good track record, you don't have to worry about that position.
And, Carlos, you have the same sort of guy in Soto. He wants to play every day. He never wants a day off. So you have two of your main guys that want – that makes it easy for a manager. You don't have to worry about load management or anything like that. Your two stars want to play.
I can say the same I can say the same thing about Francisco Lindor. Yep. I can say the same thing about Brandon Nimmo. And honestly, Francisco Alvarez, our catcher, if it was up to him, he's catching every day. It doesn't matter if it's a day game after a night game, if it's 6-7 games in a row. Like, this is a guy that you have to push back, and that's a good culture. It's good to have players that their goal is to be in the lineup day in and day out. They know that even when they're struggling, our team is better when they're there. And that's important, and I'm proud of all of them.
Now, Alvarez said the other day in camp that this is the best lineup in all of baseball. Do you like players making that comment, or does the manager kind of cringe?
Look, knowing Alvi, he came from a good place. But, Michael, there's a lot of good teams out there, man. There's a lot of good lineups out there. And we understand we got two teams in our division. We don't have to look too far out on the West with the Dodgers. You got the Phillies, you got the Braves. That they're really good lineups, and then not to mention the ones in the West Coast with the Dodgers, obviously, the Padres, the Diamondbacks are really good, and don't forget about that Central. When you got the Cubs that are making moves, they got Tucker, so competition is real, and we do have a good lineup. But on paper, nobody's won anything. We got to go out there and do it.
Talking with Carlos Mendoza, the manager of the Mets. Carlos, obviously you've made a lot of additions in your starting rotation, some subtractions with Severino leaving. But the key for me, I said this the other day on the show, I wonder if you agree, you need Senga healthy. Do you feel confident that he's going to be healthy this year and that he will be your number one starter? Yes.
So as I sit here talking to you, Michael, I feel really good where Kodai is at physically, mentally. It wasn't an easy year for him last year. Man, it was hard. In spring training, I think it was the very first day or second day that he went down, and we didn't see him till July. Had that outing against the Braves, and he was electric. And then he goes down the way he did. Watching him go down the way he did. And he was hard. He was hard. But to his credit, he kept working, spent the off season in Japan working. We had our trainers visit with him in November. We had our pitching coach visit with him in January. I like the work. I like where he's at. And, yes, it's not a secret for us to get to where we want to get. We need Kodai Senga healthy. I'm excited, so we got to keep it that way.
Holmes, obviously had a great time in New York, a couple of all-star games as a reliever, mostly as a closer. How do you feel about him being a starter? Is he going to be able to be stretched out and give you 5 or 6 every time? Do you think he's going to be that when the season opens? Yeah.
You got to give him credit because when he signed and then he's making that transition, it's a big jump out of the gate, His off-season is a different one than being a reliever. And he was the very first one that showed up here in Port St. Lucie. I think the second week of January, he was already here at the complex working out. And our first day, a couple of days ago, pitchers and catchers, he was already throwing live EP through 3 innings. That shows you right there how hard he's been working and that he's ready to make that transition. Yes, we all know the pitch package, what made him a really good reliever, especially against righties because of that power sinker and the slider, the sweeper, whatever you want to call it. And as a starter, he's going to have to develop a new pitch. He's got to be able to go through a lineup not only twice, but the potential third time through. And in order for you to do that, you're going to need more than 2 pitches. And that's what he's doing right now. He's playing around with a 4-seam. He's playing around with a cutter. I like the changeup. This is a pitch that I was told that last year he played around with it during catch play, but never used it much in games. And now this live BP that he threw a couple of days ago, he threw some changes that I was like, okay, this is gonna work. But he's early. He's early. You know him well, and this is a guy that competes. He's been through a lot. This is a guy that's really good guy, very accountable. Even when things are not going his way, he's always accountable and not shying away from anything. And that, for me, is a sign that, okay, he's going to be able to handle adversity, and he's going to find a way to get back up. So excited about Clay, and you probably, knock on wood, we'll probably see him early in spring making a start.
Before I let you go, every manager always tells me it's hard with a veteran player when they might not be in the position that they've previously been in. You have a lot of options in the outfield and at DH. If Marte is not an everyday player, do you worry how he would react in that way because he's used to playing every day?
Yes, and you're right. It's not an easy situation for a player, especially a player his caliber, which is he's been an everyday guy and an impact player. And we already had that conversation with him. I already had the conversation with Marte. It's going to be a different role, but a big role. Every winning team needs players like him, that even though you're not in the starting lineup, you might get the biggest at-bat of the game coming off the bench. There's going to be times that I'm going to be pinch hitting for him. And he's on board. He's to a point in his career that he wants to win. He enjoys being a Met. He likes what we got going here, and it was a very honest, hard conversation, but he took it really well, and he'll do whatever we need him to do.
Well, best of luck.
The biggest thing, we got to keep him healthy.
Yes, absolutely, because when he's healthy, he's a force. But good luck the rest of the way. Hopefully we talk, and you're one of my favorite people in the game, so I wish you all the luck.
Thank you, Michael. Means a lot. Good luck to you, and I'll see you soon.
All right, sounds great. That is Carlos Mendoza, the manager of the New York Mets. So going over what he believes with his team. He said 2 or 3 for Soto. Hasn't been decided yet, but and also had very honest things to say about Marte, that they've had that conversation with him as well.